I'm Devin from Franktown, Colorado, Warren Performance Horses. About the first part of December, I had a horse that the guys handed it to me. I went in and was given a lesson, tightened up the cinch, didn't think anything about it. As I'd given my, 3-year-old from the futurity about a 2-week time off before we, after we got back, and I was just given a lesson. I went and stepped on and asked her to walk forward. She took 1 step forward and flipped over. And, no warning, you don't expect it out of a good one. I just made the finals on her, got home from futurity, was happy with her, turned her out and came back in. And by the time, I knew what was happening, I was already on the way down. She's on top of me, everybody's scrambling every which direction. She's scrambling to get up. I'm scrambling to try to get off because I was still in the saddle. She slips and falls. I'm halfway off. She falls back down on top of me. So again, now I'm scrambling. I got 1 foot out of the stirrup, trying to get my left foot out of the stirrup. And she's scrambling to get back up. And the guy that's worked for me for about 8 years, Jose, comes flying into the end door and puts himself between her back legs and my head, which was still on the ground, and knocks my left foot out of the stirrup. And it could have gotten really Western really quick, but it wakes you up, because I ended up with 4 broken ribs, a broken sternum, and the small outside bone on my leg broken. The people that come to your aid when you have a deal like this, it becomes so much like family. And Casey Hinton rode 2 of my own that he knew were really, really good this year. And he knew when I got back, I'd be riding all the customers' horses. And so he took those and didn't charge me a dime, and I'll keep them going for you. So, it's a really hard to just say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore, because everybody around you becomes a little bit more like family. And whether it's the customers or that, and you kind of want to be part of it. And that's, I think, where a lot of these shows get so big, especially this year. People, have lost a lot of that, and they can come and have that family feeling at the horse shows. And I think that's why these have grown a lot. So I'm going to stay as part of that family as long as I can. All the customers were really understanding and let the guys do their job, and then I was able to keep giving the lessons and helping the customers come in and ride their horses. So fortunately, we were able to keep rolling financially. As you get older, you're, okay, can we slow down? Can we move to this? But our breeding programs really come on in the last 5 or 6 years, and we have great prospects out there that we're breeding, and everything that I'm showing, has come up through the program, and looking to put it in the broodmare band and keep that part of it. So there's always going to be young horses in it, and sometime, you dream of only having to have 5 or 6, that you're rocking and rolling on, and that part of it. But, the horses get in your blood. It's more of a sickness than anything, and that's just the fun part about this industry. They've kept me busy this summer. Because with all of this COVID stuff going, I have a very big non-pro base in my barn. So it's been very hard for everybody to kind of travel together. And, we only had 1 show in Colorado happen. So everybody's had to travel this year. Well, I could take 16, 17 here. I could take another 17 there. And so it's just started with that Mother's Day with a slide down in, Scottsdale, and then went straight into the Derby. And you go from the Derby to Summer Slide, and Summer Slide to one in Broken Bow, Nebraska, and then Vegas, and then Idaho and Lincoln, and then back to here. They've really kept me going as far as just with this year, so it was a good thing that I was able to get up. But after every trip, I had to go in and get back on the yoga and the dry needling, and most of it, the bones healed really fast, but it was the muscles that took the longest, and that's kind of been the crazy part of the year for me. The recovery, for this time, I just had a peace when it happened. I'm like, God, you're going to have to heal me quick. I said, wrong time of year, just things need to keep rolling. And for whatever reason, I just had a peace. I knew there was lessons I had to learn. I knew that, but the pain was there. It's not that it went all smooth. I still work on muscles and that, but I was able to be back. I think the wreck happened on a Saturday morning, and I got out of the hospital Tuesday, if I remember right. Still have a pretty good concussion, so all the details are a little fuzzy, but I was back in the arena coaching by Thursday and Friday, spending a half day out there coaching. I'd be wrapped up in my electric blanket out there in a chair and just keep on coaching, and I just was able to help everybody and started out a little bit, a couple hours and that, but it took me about 4 weeks to get back to where I could sit in the saddle all day long and start riding. And the way this year is gone, with as much showing as we've done, taking 2 or 3 Derby horses with me to, whether it was, Vegas or Idaho and Lincoln, and then getting all the, back and forth, it's just forced me to get back in the show pen, get back at it, and having to play at just that 3 and 4 level. You don't have anywhere to, you can't safety up really anywhere, otherwise you might as well not go. And so that part of it has just forced me to have to just get up and say, okay, this is what we need. But also been very good year for me of learning how to be smarter, not harder. And just saying, okay, my body can't take, enough jostling or that extra hour of riding that you thought you need, or getting an extra hour or 2 of sleep that where before you would have just pushed through and gritted it out, and learning, okay, hey, my brain's not working as good as it was before the wreck. Okay, I need to take time. I need to take my extra supplements, get an extra hour of sleep, and just making smarter choices. Just because of getting older and that, you start feeling yourself losing flexibility, losing your quickness, you lose a little equilibrium. I think for me, as crazy as it sounds, the yoga gal is really good with the horse. She works with a lot of Olympic equestrian as far as the hunter jumper in our area. So she understands the core and what we need in that, so I'll probably really stay with that. The dry needling and the chiropractic has been a really big help, and I've always kind of been big on the, preventative stuff, and I think it's just going to become more and more of a part as far as having to work out and just trying to be able to do this as long as possible. I think we just have to, it's really easy not to take the time and, oh, I got one more to ride, or I got this, or I got that, and next thing you know, it's 7, 8 o'clock at night, and everybody looks at you crazy. Well, can't I come in after 8? And everybody else that's normal goes, you know what? No. So shutting off at 5 and going to therapy is just going to have to be part of my session. I just had such a peace when the wreck happened. And it just, I've had my face reconstructed from another wreck and had to be off for that. And it's one of those things that I think most of us horse trainers never think about not getting back on. I think for a lot of it, the harder part was probably on my wife and kids, same as the first wreck, except, especially for my wife on this one, this is the second time I've, tried to die on her, that I think it makes them more paranoid about what I'm getting on, where I'm going. Getting back on those same horses or feeling one that tenses up gives you a lot more pucker factor now than what it used to. You just just giddy up and go. But I mean, when one goes over on you like that and there's no warning, it's not like you were in a fight, it just happens. And so it does create doubts on how hard you want to go and stuff like that, and it's just a process of getting up and going again. And there's definitely days where you're like, I think it's more of a pushing through some of it because you feel your equilibrium, and all of a sudden I think you sense your, I don't know if you want to call it humanity or your weakness, or you're not invincible anymore. I think some of that's just making sure that you're working smarter, not harder. If you're having that, that fear, trust your gut. Don't force things, but put yourself in a circumstance where you're going to be successful. Make sure that, for the most part, we always try to have somebody else in the barn. I don't care if it's your stall help. I don't care if it's there, especially when you're coming back, because you're going to bail quicker. You're going to be there. Get your old trusty steeds out know which ones they are. We all have our favorites and the ones that we can rely on. You know, if you're an amateur and you only have that one horse and something happened there is more than enough amateurs that'll let you borrow their horses, let you do whatever you need to do to get over that. But just take it one step at a time. A lot of trust, a lot of praying, you know, and just baby steps. Just anything's possible if you just take little steps. Big thank you to everybody that helped me through it, my wife especially. You know, she had to sit there and doctor me and get me through that first week of pain meds every couple hours and waking me up, and you know, just all the great people that supported me both with time and effort and financially, and it's just been a godsend of everybody there that, you know, you find out how many friends you really have and just how many people are around you and support you. And that's the biggest thing I have with anybody that gets in a wreck. Don't be too proud to ask for help. You know, I struggle with being way too proud, way too that of just, I can do it on my own. I don't need help and that. And it's been a very humbling experience accepting that help and moving forward with that, and just knowing that there are people there that care very, very much about you and what you're doing, and all those times that you've taken that extra 10 minutes to listen to somebody or help them with that is very much appreciated, even if it's not said so at the time.
Many horses need support in 4 key areas: joint, hoof, coat, and digestion. Smart Combo and Smart Combo Ultra provide support for young and middle-aged horses in light to heavy work. Smart Combo Senior and Smart Combo Senior Ultra are designed specifically for older horses to help them enjoy their golden years and keep them going strong. Smart Combo Ultimate provides an unparalleled level of support for anyone wanting to give their horse the very best. Visit smartpack.com/smartcombo to get started.